Last time, we saw Vegeta and Kakarot encounter a new foe, Granolah, but elsewhere, Frieza was still being healed, and now he's finally emerged once more. With all of this happening at once, what's going to happen going forward? We'll see all that and more in this part 5 of What If Kakarot Was in Vegeta's crew. Against Granolah, the Saiyans are actually able to do decently well, but it's still not really enough. They do have a lot of power, but it's really just enough to hold them off, especially with the fact that Kakarot's already a bit injured because of the sneak attack. So they're going to need a lot more than just holding Granolah off. This guy's clearly out for blood, and they still don't really know why. But Kakarot does have an idea. Now, he knows Vegeta's not going to like this because it's kind of un-Saiyan-like. But it's their only shot at surviving, their only shot at winning, and it's a chance to revive Raditz and Nappa. He tells Vegeta they're going to need to retreat. Yeah, he doesn't really like that. But Kakarot must have a good reason for that, because usually he wouldn't suggest something like that. But he's being pretty tactical here and does have a good idea in mind. He'll tell Vegeta in a bit. The two of them combine all their power, no longer controlling their ki either. Not that this will injure Granolah anymore, but it's going to allow them to escape pretty easily. Together, the two of them launch a powerful blast at Granolah. It doesn't do much damage to him, but it rips off a chunk of the planet with Granolah on it. This is why they stopped using ki control. They easily were able to rip off this part of the planet, launching it far into space with Granolah still on it. At fast speeds too, they only have a brief chance now. They make a beeline for their ship and immediately start flying to the other side of the planet. And once they arrive on the other side of the planet, they then launch off from there. This way it buys them time as Granolah tries to get back on the planet, and on top of that, launching off from the other side of the planet means that Granolah doesn't see where they're going. And by the time Granolah even notices they're gone, it's already too late. He doesn't know what direction they launched off in, so he just has to assume. Eventually he does make it back down on the planet just fine. That piece of the planet they launched off, it did fly off pretty quickly, giving them a good amount of distance. But still, it only bought them just a minute, but that was more than enough time. Granolah recollects himself, calling them cowards for escaping, but he'll find them again. It's only a matter of time, and now he knows more about them by just fighting them a little bit. And the Saiyans aren't just aimlessly flying off. They do have a really good idea. Kakarot's idea was to head to planet Cereal, wherever that is. It takes them a bit of time to find it, but eventually they do get there, because apparently this is where Granolah's from, and if he did wish for this power from a dragon, that means maybe there's a set of Dragon Balls here, so all they have to do is just find it on this planet. But if this is Granolah's home, that means they're probably going to have to face him here again. So they're going to have to lay low for a bit, especially because he's probably going to show up soon. But if this all turned out to be true, it'll be great. First of all, they were able to escape from Granolah, so at least that was a good thing, because it allowed them time to heal on their spaceship, which means they did get a little bit of a boost in power, and with this extra strength they might be able to defeat Granolah themselves next time. But on top of that, if they do get the Dragon Balls here, assuming that they do exist, and they're able to use them, they'll be able to revive Raditz and Nappa. Some extra firepower against Granolah. And to make things even better, this is Granolah's home turf, so fighting here will probably make him hold back a little bit more just to not destroy everything around them. Sure, he knows this planet way better than them, but they're still going to be advantaged because of that. But when they arrive, surprisingly someone comes to greet them, thinking it's Granolah that's getting there. This is a different ship than normal, and he doesn't recognize it. But Monaito goes out to see who's here, traveling over to the ship which isn't too far away from his home. He watches from a distance though because he doesn't know if this is an enemy or not. But when he sees who gets off the ship, his eyes widen. He immediately goes over to them. It's two Saiyans, but one of them looks exactly like that Saiyan from so long ago, Bardock. It can't be a coincidence, especially here. It turns out that Monaito's judgment was right. This actually is Bardock's son. He goes to the two of them to ask them why they're here and who they are. And out of curiosity, he asks Kakarot if he's related to someone named Bardock. And obviously Kakarot remembers his backstory here, so yeah, he remembers Bardock. Very vaguely though, but he is related to him. That's his father. Although Vegeta finds it pretty interesting that there's a Namekian here. Assuming the Namekians are connected to the Wish Orbs, there really must be a set of them here. So Vegeta asks if he knows anything about them. And Monaito doesn't really know how to answer. Of course, he's kind of inclined to help Kakarot because it is Bardock's son, but still, the timing of this is all very weird. Especially because he knows Granolah's after the Saiyans. Before he answers that, he has to ask them one thing. Did they face Granolah? They might not actually know his name, but they just know that he's a Cerealian and he's apparently the last one, so they assume that's who he's talking about. And this isn't really too surprising. If he is the last Cerealian alive, it makes sense that people on this planet would know about him, especially the guy connected to the Dragon Balls that he used. He begs them to not fight anymore. He'll actually help them get the Dragon Balls too, but he doesn't want them to hurt Granolah, and vice versa too. Granolah's being misguided, and he shouldn't be going down this path. They need to stop fighting before things get worse. It's good that they were able to escape, and that they weren't able to kill Granolah either. This is all a big misunderstanding, especially now seeing Kakarot. He's actually inclined to help these two. And despite being Saiyans, they don't seem to be here with malicious intents. They're here for the Dragon Balls. If it was just Vegeta, this would be a different story. But Kakarot being here is what helps out. Soon after, another ship lands nearby. It's Granolah, immediately jumping off. Ready to attack the Saiyans, but he sees Monaito there, who tries to get Granolah to stop. But it's going to take more than that for Granolah, especially because unlike here, the Saiyans weren't tricked by the Heaters. The Heaters just sent Granolah after the Saiyans, planting that idea in his head. and Granolah tells Monaito to get out of the way. He's going to kill these two Saiyans. But before the fight resumes, the four of them all feel a very strange presence. Vegeta and Kakarot know it very well. It's huge power. No, actually, it's two big powers. Could it be the heaters coming nearby? No, that doesn't make sense because he would sense four of them. Plus, he actually hasn't seen them in a few days. He doesn't know where they are. And Vegeta and Kakarot are astounded. There's no way. That's Frieza's power. He's alive? But it's not coming towards them. Elsewhere on the planet, Frieza lands with King Cold. The heaters are actually on planet Cereal right now, suppressing their powers. Vegeta and Kakarot didn't even know to look out for them. And thankfully, their powers are low right now as well as Granolah's, although Granolah's strength almost did flare up there when he got angry. But the Frieza Force doesn't even know those three are here, nor do they care about Granolah. They're here for the heaters. This entire time, the heaters have been on the planet looking for the Dragon Balls themselves, but of course, they have to do it manually because there's no Dragon Ball radar for them. But Frieza's not there for that either. He doesn't even know about that. He knows what the heaters have been up to. They probably thought he was dead and tried to take power, right? The heaters deny this, but Frieza says he was able to weed out the spies amongst his ranks, seeing some unauthorized communication with the heaters, giving some info to them that they shouldn't have. But he's still here, so none of that's going to get past him or King Cold. It's time for them to die. The heaters do get ready to battle, but without a wish for themselves, they're not really going to be doing much against Frieza. Especially because, unlike normal, Frieza's in a different form here. They're used to seeing him in his first form. They've never seen him like this. It seems like he's constantly going to stay in his final form now, showing his true power to make sure people fear him. Although, he still is kind of holding back because he's not in his 100%. But still, this is more than enough. He kills the heaters with ease. And just to vent his frustrations, as well as a nice warm-up for him, he decides to blow up the planet. After so long healing, he has to get used to this again. Granted, it didn't really take too long for him to heal. The healing chamber did most of the work after all. The issue was, King Cold had to spend time finding him, and Frieza also had to figure out what was going on, catching up to the events that he missed. The healing process didn't take long, but his return, it did take a bit. And even though he wasn't even gone a year, it still seems like a lot has happened. But whatever the heaters are doing here, he won't have to worry anymore. They're dead, and his planet's gone. Frieza's ship leaves. On the other side of the planet, Kakarot, Vegeta, Granolah, and Monaito feel the planet rumbling. What's going on? Granolah recognized that as the heater's power. They were fighting Frieza and King Cold for some reason. Although they seemed completely outmatched. With Granolah's new power, he could have easily killed the heaters himself, but he didn't really have a reason to. And Frieza didn't really grow much stronger. Actually, if at all. He hasn't trained yet. So he's pretty much the same strength as before, and if they did fight him, it would have been a really easy battle, especially with the three of them there. But even one of them alone could have been enough. But that's besides the point. This all happened so quickly, and he's already gone. They're more than ready to go fight him, now that they've got a judge of his power and see that he's not too much stronger, if at all. But now there's a bigger issue. The planet starts shaking even more violently, and they realize what happened. Vegeta and Kakarot have seen this before. They've watched planets explode, and they know how it feels. Lava starts erupting out of the ground, and Kakarot yells out at the other two, telling them to leave as quickly as possible. He and Vegeta get back on their ship, launching off into space. Granolah then grabs onto Monaito, quickly flying back over to his ship and launching off too, following the Saiyan ship as they watch from space with planet Cereal exploding behind them. They don't even see Frieza's ship either. He's already long gone. He couldn't just immediately blow up the planet after all, because otherwise his ship wouldn't have made it out of there. But at least this way he got to watch the fireworks from space, which he loved seeing. Next, he's going to have to find those two Saiyans, but he's going to need to get stronger beforehand. Now he knows there's no more traitors amongst his ranks. Unlike before with the treacherous Saiyans, he didn't take action right away, which he regrets. But here with the heaters, he immediately went after them when he saw that there was a traitor. Granted, the heaters don't really work for him, but those spies amongst his ranks, they were dealt with too. He has a no-tolerance policy for this, and learned from his mistakes with the Saiyans. Next, he'll kill them. In another solar system, the Saiyans and Granolah land on the same planet. Granolah's infuriated. His planet was just destroyed, and the two Saiyans are here too. He wants to fight them again, but this entire time while they were flying, Monaito has been trying to calm him down, and the Saiyans tell him to just chill out for a moment. They need to talk. They don't know why Granolah went after them in the first place, or who put the idea in his head to do so. Clearly he's always hated the Saiyans, but something sent him after them just now. He could have done it any time beforehand, but they know something must have caused him to do it at this moment in time. He found out about them living from the heaters, and it seems like they're dead too. But they ask Granolah, doesn't this all seem suspicious? It seems like the heaters were maybe trying to use him or something, especially with the timing of Frieza coming there. And with them being on the planet in the first place, why would they be there on the planet when Granolah's gone? Man, it's a long shot, but the whole reason the Saiyans went to the planet in the first place is because of the Dragon Balls, so maybe the heaters went there for that exact same reason. Granolah doesn't necessarily trust the heaters either, nor does he like working with them, but they did still give him a job and made him stronger. But still, it's not too outlandish to think that they might work against him. But why? For what reason? No one knew that Frieza was alive either. And maybe that's part of it. Maybe the Heaters saw an opportunity to get stronger. Maybe they wanted to do what Granolah did. And maybe Granolah was a threat to them. They don't know for sure. They're just speculating here, which Granolah doesn't really like. They still know nothing about him. But still, the theory makes sense. Something was going on that Granolah didn't know about, nor the Saiyans for that matter. But all of that, they shouldn't focus on that now. What matters most now is the fact that Frieza's still alive. The three of them have a common enemy. They shouldn't be fighting each other, especially because these two Saiyans, they weren't the ones responsible for what happened on Planet Cereal. Not decades ago and not now. And Granolah is starting to remember, all those years ago, that one Saiyan who saved him, Bardock. Granted, Bardock was still there to wipe out the Cerealians in the first place, but still, he turned on his people for them. He's not exactly a hero in Granolah's eyes, but still, everything Monaito's been telling him, he's been considering it, especially the fact that Kakarot's related to that guy. And after all, the two of them did just fight Frieza and nearly kill him. Of course, they didn't really do a good job at killing him, which Vegeta's kind of ashamed of. He thought he finished the job, but maybe he needed a little more power. He was pretty worn out during that fight after all, and did kill Frieza pretty hastily. Although, he's amazed that Frieza was able to survive that. But all that is besides the point. Granolah's pretty conflicted, and Monaito tries to talk him down. At least they're all not fighting anymore. And whatever the Heaters had planned, that shouldn't matter either because they're gone now. But Granolah's still incredibly conflicted. Of course, Frieza's a bigger target for him than the Saiyans are. Granolah's planet's gone. Frieza's back, his greatest enemy. He has the power to defeat Frieza, but what are they supposed to do now? Monaito says he can bring the planet back. He could just make another set of Dragon Balls and they could just wish it back. But that's an issue still. Frieza will know it came back and will wonder why. It's going to be far too suspicious. They need to deal with Frieza first before bringing the planet back. But Vegeta and Kakarot have an idea. They ask Monaito to make a set of Dragon Balls right now. And they're not going to wish for power because that's not really their style. Plus, at the moment they don't really need that because Frieza seems to be weaker than them still. Monaito makes a new set of 2 Dragon Balls, agreeing to what Vegeta and Kakarot want to wish for. They want more allies, and they have 2 perfect people in mind for that. A new Taranbo is summoned, and a wish is made. Revive Raditz and Nappa. Taranbo then disappears, granting the wish, but they don't see Raditz and Nappa anywhere nearby. And then it hits Monaito, realizing that the wish probably did work, but they wished for Raditz and Nappa to be revived, not brought here. That would have been a separate wish after all. Well, whatever. As long as the wish worked, all they needed to do was go back to that planet they were on because thankfully it shouldn't be destroyed. And Raditz and Nappa would have no way off there because they have no ship there. The 3 of them have more than enough power for what they want to do, but with 2 extra allies, it's also going to be a lot easier. And Kakarot holds a hand out to Granolah. Granolah has no reason to trust them. He understands that. But still, at least for this battle, at least temporarily, Kakarot wants to fight alongside him as an ally. He knows what it feels like to lose others, and to lose his people as a whole. Sure, the Saiyans might have been terrible, but still, Kakarot never grew up knowing his species, outside of the 3 around him, and he wants to keep fighting to live. And if the 3 of them are together, Frieza and King Cold won't be an issue at all. Reluctantly, Granolah shakes his hand. It's time to do this. This is where we'll leave off for now. What'd you guys think about this part? What's going to happen next? Leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps out the channel and shows me you guys want to see more videos like this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.